Good evening. This is Simmion, coming to you from the outer reaches of the universe, bringing you energies to support your day and to take you further into the world of your Creator. On this occasion, we feel it prudent to talk about some of the simple things in life that keep reoccurring and taking away the focus that everyone needs to support their everyday life. One of the major instigations in the formation of the atmosphere and the electromagnetic field around Earth is that it retains many of the things that are deposited throughout each day. Each person who drops a thought or even has a reaction leaves that in the electromagnetic field of the atmosphere for everybody else to walk through. Unfortunately, with the number of people on Earth and the tendency to do this at least 10 times a day, we have electromagnetic pollution, which disturbs every one of you. Why we send special energies is so that that pollution can be cleared very quickly. There are some minor traps in the development of housing and buildings where these things sit regularly. And it is easy for each one of you to feel what I'm talking about and to be affected by something that has nothing to do with you, let alone all the things that have to do with you in your own direct field. All the chatter from your own being is quite difficult to move. So what we do each day is bring you energies that support your day to enable you to keep moving, to move freely, and to transform the field around you and the field you walk into something of clarity and purity with every step that you take. Once you feel what I've said, you will feel the energy flow. And it's that energy flow that we provide on a daily basis. The biggest attribute is that you retransmit the perfection that you make in the world as you walk around. And so when you find that your system is performing poorly, it's time to call on us. Even to the extent of being forceful and saying, get your act into gear and bring me what I need so that I can support my world in every way possible. You never know, the message might get all the way to me. If it does, I can assure you there'll be an immediate response. But as humans, you feel like you're subject to those that you can't see. It's not the case. Nobody is subject to anyone, but we said we would provide what you needed. Therefore, on those occasions, if we're not up to your standard, we deserve you to say a few things that are harsh. Providing you don't keep doing it, of course. There are times when those who are allocated to you are not up to the level that you need at a particular time. And that's when we need to change out the support. So the logistics that we talk about, you forget about. But there are a lot of people involved and a lot of entities involved. And up to date, it's been extremely difficult to know what you're talking about. But now we have the feedback system that explains a lot more. We can turn a complaint into something that means something. Can you imagine saying to a child, "That's no good"? They don't know what you're talking about. So the only thing that you really have to do is, before you send us a message, make sure you really have our attention. Otherwise, you're complaining into midair and leaving more smog for somebody else to walk into. That's the practical side of everyday life, which is simple, as long as you know how it works. The purpose that many of us are aware of is to make sure that we transmit positive vibes, as you call it, to everyone. That, in fact, can be a little bit overbearing. It's nice every now and then, but it's like giving a child ice cream every time they say they want something. It wears thin after a while and they end up getting sick. So the variety depends on your sensitivity. So it's not a case of sending all the time, it's a case of communicating in a two-way communication, so that you allow the sensitive part of your being to attend to the sensitive part of another person's being. There we have another anomaly, where systems have decided what is best for the sensitive part of somebody's being. Even if you rub one part of your body too long, you will turn aggressive. The sensitive part of your being will know that it likes to be touched once, twice, 3 times, and that's all. So the sensitive part is not what communicates. It's the harsh part that communicates after it starts to be disturbed. So the communication that should be totally sensitive turns into harshness and misunderstanding. The energies we provide make sure that never happens. We will signal both parties very, very quickly to make sure the sensitive part of each being is interacting. And there is no permanent solution that someone can adopt and say, this is the perfect way to go. Each time we come close, our sensitivity is such that we really can't afford to introduce aggression. And so when you think you need more contact so that you can feel that someone's around, understand it's not going to happen. Your sensitivity has to be such that you can feel the breeze. You can sense the smells. You can feel the trees, the birds. And then the next step, you will feel us. So when we talk about being there to assist, we are. But the sensitivity of your being is what we work with. So now we get to the real practical part where someone says, well, how do I fix this? The person is usually very determined, very fixed, and totally immovable. And so we have to change the circumstances around that person to either break them into laughter or have them trip over or spill something or do something stupid that tears them out of that mode. So don't be surprised when you're asking for help, something goes wrong. There is a reason behind it all, but mostly it is to change your mode. Once it's changed, the world suddenly changes around you, and you think, oh, if I'd have laughed before, I'd have been okay. That's not the truth. The truth is, you laughed to release the pressure you had on us so that what we were delivering came to you. If we go a little bit further and look at your plans for the future, your plans for the future have many, many, many thousands of don't wants and a few wants, but never a moving picture of what would be nice. This will change as you work with advancement. These pictures change, your position in the universe changes, and the assistance of the earth comes into play. The assistance of the earth is such that it will change circumstance beyond your understanding. So that the future that best matches the greatest feelings you have, that we've always called a heart's desire. It will take all these things and produce a movement that will cause not a direction change, not a reality change, but a physical change in everything about you and everything about everyone who comes in contact with you. This can be felt very clearly in the greatest measuring system that you have, your body. If you're not experiencing the movement that you want, your body won't experience the movement it wants. If you're not experiencing the advancement you want, your body will feel flat. If the inner parts of your body start to do the wrong thing, they will clearly reflect what is happening in your world. Remember, it's a measuring system, and you don't have to fix your measuring system. If it's measuring that you've got no flow and you cannot pass solids through your body, it's saying you have no flow. It's not saying go and do something about your body. It's saying go and do something about your life so your body can work properly. All you have to do is pass that detail on to us, and you will see change almost immediately. You will feel a change in energy flow. You'll feel a change in interaction with many, many things. So know that your body is a measuring system. It also services you in ways that you have not yet experienced. It provides all the power and the frequencies and the communication carrier that you need to stay in tune with the earth and the celestial beings. It does not need your interference. You don't have to learn how that happens. You don't have to learn how to communicate. You don't have to learn how to contact us. It's a bodily function that's been closed off in many. So all you have to notice that it got closed off. As soon as you say that's not satisfactory, we will come to the aid of the body and make sure it becomes satisfactory or it changes. There are many, many things that you go through life learning. And they've kept you busy for a long time. But in fact, there's nothing can tell you more than your own physical being. Except if you want to know something about the past. Then you have to call on that from your own physical systems. Or you can just sit for a moment, place your order, and we will deliver it to you. Just like if you can't remember somebody's name. Place your order, you wait for a while, you get on with doing something else, and the mailman delivers it. This is a very, very simple fact of how the body and the communication system and the storage systems work. And you don't store things in your brain. It seems like you do. But it's like everything else. What is around you reflects within you. They've said for many years, what is above is below. That's not quite right, but it sounds good. And your brain can handle that. But in fact, it's the complex hologram of existence, where every part of every world exists within an atom, or less, in exactly the same format, exactly the same ratio, exactly the same colours and pictures. And they're finding those sorts of things now, even in the simple sands, when they increase the size of the magnification. The sand looks like lots of coral and rock and shells and everything that you normally find on the beach, before it becomes sand. Everything in your world is made up like that. But it doesn't mean that you can use it. It just means it's an interesting fact. What you can use is way beyond that. And as you advance, you'll be assisted in raising yourself above your body so that you are interacting with that marvelous mechanism of a body that provides everything you need on this earth. I remember Robert often describing dressage, where the person on the horse doesn't even move, but you can feel the transmission between them. And the horse, that's usually totally wild before the rider gets on, stands still, dances, moves. Even if it kicks a stone, it doesn't get out of line. And while they're operating together, they're a marvelous team. When they're apart, they're totally without order. Runs wild when it's not busy. So your spirit and your body work together perfectly. But your spirit sends all the data and the requirements to the body. And when the body performs correctly, they're both comfortable. When that communication is out of line, you're both uncomfortable. Spirit wants to run wild, body's saying no. Body gets uncomfortable, tells the spirit to get lost. Don't need you anymore. And so you end up with an internal turmoil that has nothing to do with anything except the rider and the horse. And the performance is terrible. And so all the people who are watching want their money back. So everyone around you is dissatisfied, and your world turns to rubbish. So understand that story, and you'll see what happens when you are not in harmony with your spirit and vice versa. And I'm saying you as the combination of the two. The you that performs perfectly in a world that looks like it's got problems. So now let's have a look at the reason we say you don't have problems and the world doesn't have problems. Because the combination of your being and your spirit works perfectly in the most unusual of circumstances to produce a perfect dance that everybody is interested in. So we can't see why you say you have problems. But the solution is always that combination, working in harmony with itself, not even caring about anything that can get in its road. And so, in what we've just presented, you have many, many options. And the best one is simplicity. The simplicity that holds every part of you, not only in harmony, but in gentleness. We spend a lot of time sending special energies to take the sharp edges of people's transmissions. the energies are abrasive, and they cause not only the body of the person who's transmitting to be harsh, but the body of those who feel for everyone. They take on these harsh vibrations in an attempt to calm the world. And so instead of having just one thing to repair, we have many things to repair, because the harshness reflects in the body of the person who is measuring it. And after a while, that body gets beyond its limits and starts to fail. So many of the interactions that we work with do not have to be there, because they're the reactions of a dissatisfied crowd after they've come across a person and their spirit who is out of harmony and not communicating. And so our aim is to maintain everyone in that elevated state of the dressage rider and horse. Nobody experiences any difficulty, even when they're watching. And it heals the harshest reactions in those who are watching. So don't be surprised if you get the occasional signal that says, careful, don't say what's coming up in your mind, don't say what's hanging around your head. Go above there and say nothing. Then you will transmit that perfection that heals everyone. So once we move into areas where people have desires that are related to their achievements in the physical world, we have to look to the world and start to take people to where they can see a whole different picture for themselves. In that whole different picture, the world itself will respond and change their future. It's not a matter of going out and doing something so you can solve the situation you're in. It's a matter of holding yourself in a place where you can actually experience that future, even though you don't think it's there. The parallel world that you have available to you will bring it to you immediately, even though you can't see it. You will live the experience, you will hold the experience until it actually appears in some form or another in your physical world. It cannot be exactly the same because you generated it from what you've seen and felt in the world. It will always be better. So those who have gone through the movement of life where Everything they ever did has moved on. Know that there is a place in the world for every one of you. And in that place in the world, you will be provided with everything you need and more. The reason you can't find that place in the world right now is because you're in linear time. Robert explained what your time is and how it is so different to linear time. So when you adapt to your time that has no relativity, has no waiting, that has no delay, your world can change and linear time will be removed from that process. It seems like a lot of words, but we will move quickly into your field and be there for that gentle interaction, for that precision, and for that sensitivity that gives you precise and exact control over your world. Once you listen, you will feel the action. It is subtle but never ending. The power that moves through every system in the world never gives way. And it generates the plants, the trees, the movement, your being, and your future, continually without making a mistake. The sense of dissatisfaction that you feel when you have a timeline, a set of circumstances that are pushing you, and a stressful situation, may actually be what you need. When there is movement required, we can't tell you because we will only get a harsh answer. What do you mean? But we will allow the forces to build in such a way that you actually move yourself. So now, smile when you feel you're in a corner. Nod your head and say, okay, I've got the message. Take any step in any direction and you'll get another message. Not that way, or not that way, or not that way. Yes, that way. Or there'll be no message when you get it the right way. Because why do you need to be told you're on the right path? If you're driving the freeway and you're on the right freeway, you don't look for the signs. It's only when you don't know whether you're on the right freeway, you look for the signs. And the only way you can find out is to get off the freeway and read the sign, and then get back on again. We don't suggest you keep doing that. We suggest you enjoy every moment, and float along with everything as it is, knowing that there is nothing wrong. And there are many, many, many of us alongside you all, making sure that without doubt, out of doubt, you are being led to the exact place you're supposed to be in your own timeline. So with all that being said, you may engage your brain and wonder what we're talking about. Your brain will give you a crazy answer, and you'll say, well, forget all that. That doesn't suit me. All that will happen as a result of that is you'll build more pressure. It will make you more uncomfortable and push you harder into the corner that you have to walk out of. So open your heart, feel the sensitivity. Remember, it's not your brain we need to satisfy. It's the most sensitive part of your being that understands the birds, the trees, the plants, and the energies of the universe. So thank you. This is all we can really pass on today. I am Simmion. Thank you.